Please stand for the pledge of allegiance, and we'll take a brief moment of silence right after. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everyone, please take your seats. Dedication of notice.
This meeting is being conducted in full compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law. Notice was presented to Rockland County Times, the Township website, and posted on the English Township Bulletin Board.
Okay, thank you. We have a few things for public hearing and adoption of the 2025 municipal budget. And then we start in order, resolution number 2026-82, resolution to amend the 2026 budget. Before we bring this up for a vote, any questions from council?
No, sir.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-82.
We have a first,
I'll second.
we have a second, roll call please.
Ms. Aster?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
We have resolution 2026-81, another resolution, the first resolution to amend the 2026 budget. Any questions before we bring up for a vote?
No.
No.
No questions?
Motion to approve resolution 2026-81.
We have a first,
Oh, second.
and we have a second. Roll call please.
Ms. Aster?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. And we have resolution 2026-80. This is a resolution authorizing the adoption of the 2026 municipal budget. Before we bring this up, do we have any questions from council?
No.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-80.
We have a motion to approve. We have a first, we have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Roll call please.
Ms. Aster?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
The budget has been passed. If anyone has any comments, you can make them during the matters of the public one at a time. Now, we have a few ordinances by first reading by title only. And when you have a first reading, there will be no questions in regards to, public hearing in regards to these ordinances. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so we have ordinance 2026-4. This is an ordinance amending the township code to create article 38, historical preservation, district. Now, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Did you have a first? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Or we have a second? Roll call, please.
Ms. Aster?
Actually, I think it is on order. I was going to move to table, did not have enough time to read. It was a lot of pages and I have a lot of questions, so I would abstain. Abstain. Sorry, I didn't move, but no, sorry.
Ms. Burkus? Yes. Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Ms. Burke, is this the one you want to pull, 26-5?
Yes, if we could pull, if we could,
So
okay,
we
if I
need a
could make a
motion.
motion to table ordinance 2026-5.
So we have a first for a motion to table 2026-5. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Aster?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Motion, ordinance 2026-5 has been tabled for another time. Ordinance 2026-6, ordinance establishing regulations governing planting, maintenance, and control and removal of bamboo. Do we have a first?
So moved.
We have a first? We have a second?
Second?
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Yes, it's okay.
It's okay.
Girls and boys on other sides, yeah.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. All right. We have ordinance 2026-7, ordinance amending chapter 265 of the code entitled Vehicles and Traffic, subchapter 265-66, entitled Schedule 25 mid-block crosswalks to add 3 crosswalks with warning beacons on Greenwood Avenue and updating existing mid-block crosswalks.
Motion to approve?
We have a first?
I'll second.
We have a second? Roll call, please.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. All right. Members of the public are invited to submit comments during the public comment portion of this meeting. The council pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act will not publicly discuss personnel matters and may choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the council will give all comments appropriate consideration and refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate representative for resolution. Each citizen will be allotted up to 4 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone an opportunity to express their opinions and/or concerns. All right, since we have a full house, we start with the first row. Anyone in the first row want to make comments? Please step up to the mic. Hit the button. There we go.
Good afternoon, my name is Louis Lopez, live in 911 I'm just curious, how you use all the surplus from 2025, any extra money from that time to this budget? Just curious. How you,
Repeat your question, please.
you use all the money from that 2025, any extra money left over for 2025?
From where?
From the budget, surplus,
From
anything?
the surplus? There's money left in surplus.
Oh, okay. It can be useful for this budget?
That's what the amendment is for.
Oh, okay.
Joshua, what's in the surplus? What's in the budget now includes rollover surplus from 2025, correct?
You used $1 million, a little over $1 million in surplus. I think there's a little around 900,000.
You speak up, please. So we used about, there was a million, little over $1 million left in surplus, and now it's down to about 900,000.
And resolution for 61 and 71.
$61 and $71.
Yeah.
61 is a tax sale. Resolution, not a sale.
Resolution 61 is the resolution required by law. Township has to do an accelerated tax sale since we started one, so we need a resolution every year. 71 is a resolution that has to be passed in order to receive grant funds.
And you have to give up on the fireworks, there's no more fireworks around this area, because half 19 fireworks on the July the 11th. You could go to that firework if you want to see more fireworks around, this area. And, for this, morning storm, there be any damage or just minor?
Didn't hear anything, so it's probably just minor.
And I want to thank Councilwoman Kim Lopez and Kim appreciate, for the help of they do. And we're looking for the outcome of the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the first row? All right, moving on to the second row. Anyone in the second row? If you have your phone, can you please turn on the silent, please? Thank you. Anyone in the second row that would like to come to public portion?
Stone Laraway, 114 Branch Street.
Good afternoon, or good evening. I want to really thank the Township Commissioners, or Council, Deputy Mayor, Mayor, thank you. This is how things should be run. I really do appreciate the expeditious events, what you've done. It's very important that we keep it that way. I'd like to say that I did attend the Hainsport fireworks. They did a phenomenal job. From the police to fire to, what do you call it? The EMS, the council, everything was very well run. Everything was, there was no hiccups, at least I wasn't aware of anything. People were very friendly, they were very outgoing, they supported, they celebrated with their families and friends of what the 4th of July is meant to be. So I'm very appreciative. I hope that in future years that we can team up with Hainsport and other towns. And I think that's it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Anyone else in the second row? All right, moving past the second row, now we're into the third row. Anyone?
Joyce Scott for 16 Buttonwood Street, Mahalia, of course. The ordinance establishing this regulations, planning and maintenance and removal of bamboo. If you're doing that because it's considered invasive, the state of New Jersey has already declared running bamboo to be invasive, and its sale and propagation is illegal. Clumping bamboo is not considered invasive. State of New Jersey has declared it to be non-invasive and manageable. So I hope you thought about that before you declared this, because the kind that's invasive has already been declared not sellable in the state of New Jersey. So I don't know why you would not allow someone to grow bamboo that's not invasive. Is that the why you declared the removal of bamboo considered invasive? I mean, I'm a master gardener. I know this. So I don't know if you're aware that there is non-invasive bamboo that people do grow for privacy. It's non-invasive, and I don't know what this regulation declares, what you can and cannot do. I didn't see the whole thing. Is there a specific?
We'll get your copy for you.
I'm talking about, does this regulation, because you're considering it invasive?
Bamboo?
Yes,
Bamboo is invasive.
it is not. All varieties are invasive. Clumping bamboo is not, by the state of New Jersey, declared invasive. It's non-invasive and considered manageable, which is unfair to someone who would want to plant the non-invasive kind for whatever reason.
I will have the language checked, but I do believe this is invasive bamboo.
The running bamboo.
We are, yes.
And there are, I don't know if you were even
Have been
aware.
complaints from many residents who.
Yes.
This day in and day out, and a couple of them asked specifically for an ordinance.
Oh, I'm well aware that it's invasive.
Yes.
Well
So
aware.
That's what this ordinance is.
Oh, invasive. I didn't know that part. Like I said, as a master gardener and through my education, I'm well aware that it's a kind, but they didn't know if you knew there was a kind that was not. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I should have consulted my master gardener mother before I voted on this. Luckily, we had a second reading.
Good evening, Betty Jean Kessler, 418 Langstaff Avenue, Manhattan. First thing I want to talk about is the taxes being raised. I find it irreprehensible that our taxes are being raised. Mine went up over $400 a quarter. There's been no forensic audit done to find out exactly where our money is going. I have asked multiple times previously in meetings to do a forensic audit by an outside independent consultant who has no special interest, connection, or affiliation with Mount Holly whatsoever, and that really needs to be done. Because people out there with this economy are struggling to pay their bills and put food on the table. And to raise our taxes at the amount that you have is totally unfair to the citizens of Mount Holly. That's issue number one. Issue number two, no fireworks show. My understanding is that the chief sent a letter back in May regarding safety concerns for the fireworks this year. Well, first of all, it's our 250th anniversary. We should have had a fireworks show. And if the chief was concerned about safety, then I want to know, does Mount Holly have an ordinance for a curfew for people under 18 years of age? Because I've seen teenagers at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning walk in the streets. First of all, you need a curfew. Second of all, you need to start holding these parents whose children are under 18 years of age running the street all hours of the night trying to break into people's houses and steal crap out of their yard. And then I want to know, back in November, the chief made it clear, the new chief made it clear that he was going to show up to these meetings. And he hasn't shown up to talk to the residents about any questions, problems, or concerns, or issues they have. He's shown up to do ceremonies to promote people or give out citations, but has he come and bothered to talk to anybody here about residents' concerns, questions, or problems? No. So I want to know, was he, because Josh Brown is in charge of the police department. That's my understanding from you all. Was he ordered or was he told not to come to these meetings to speak to residents? Because he needs to come out here and address the issue on why he sent that letter concerned over safety issues regarding teenagers running wild or criminal activity. It's not fair to the residents that we have to suffer the consequences because parents can't raise their kids and discipline them. And we need a curfew. And these officers that are patrolling at night, if they see these kids out on the street after 10 o'clock, they need to contact their parents and come get them from the police station. That's what happened to us back in the 70s and 80s. If you all remember, there used to be an advertisement, "Ooh, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?" My mom did a head count for every one of us to make sure we were in. So that issue needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Nelson.
I know my parents are, they have to check their kids.
All right. Is anyone else in the third row? This third row? Yeah, John.
Jeff Eversmeyer, 203 Broad Street. I don't even know what's going on in this meeting because for some reason, I guess we have a shortage of paper in Mount Holly that we can't afford to put enough pamphlets back there so we can read what happened tonight at tonight's meeting. Because I came in and it's hard to get a seat too, so. I see that, you know, everything about Mount Holly, it's gotta be kind of embarrassing to be the mayor of Mount Holly or the manager of Mount Holly. Because we had this great celebration, it was in our Bridgeton News, about the 250th anniversary thing that the county put on our main street. I happened to go down there, it's kind of really nice. There were mayors, there were managers, there were residents, they were told you everything that happened, they handed out brochures and gifts and all kinds of knickknacks for the kids. But I couldn't find anybody from Mount Holly. Not one person from Mount Holly was there to represent us. The mayor wasn't there, our manager wasn't there.
Let me correct you, I was there. So
Were you-
just because you didn't see me doesn't mean I wasn't there.
Oh, did you set up
So
a table?
don't assume.
Okay,
that.
did you set up a table so that residents would know?
I was there first thing in the morning.
Oh, so there was a table there?
I was there first thing in the morning.
Okay, because I asked some other, I said, where's the Mount Holly table? I asked a bunch of different mayors. and
We
managers.
hosted the event, so Mount Holly was well represented.
Okay, well, nobody seemed to know. I didn't get there till 4 or 5 o'clock, so you guys are probably.
Okay, so you didn't see me when I was there.
Okay, well, I'm glad somebody from Mount Holly represented us there.
There was a lot of people from Mount Holly.
Okay. At the
They,
table.
they were there. There's a lot of people from Mount Holly. Just
Okay,
because you didn't
I
see me,
apologize.
nobody was
I
there.
guess I got there too late. But, anyway.
So stop making false statements, Joe.
Okay, let's make some real statements. When did we build this park in Mount Holly down here by the firehouse? When was that built? When did we get the $2 million for that park and build it?
You talking about this park right here behind
Yeah,
us?
park right here.
You know the first time, when you did?
Quite a while ago.
It was before I started,
The
right?
park didn't get finished.
But it was rolling, like.
It was wrong.
Yeah.
My concern is, so we've got this park back, I just parked back there, and the trash cans are overflowing, there's trash all over the ground, there's people there. Actually, I saw a guy urinating against a tree. I didn't see any toilets down there. We have portable toilets down there. It's amazing, we could build a park for $2 million, and we didn't have the foresight to put a bathroom down for the people who wanted to use the park. If I bring a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, are you supposed to pee against a tree? And then you guys finally get some, I guess you guys are gonna get some toilets down there, 2 of them, for that whole big park, when they got football games or whatever going on. So we're gonna have 2 toilets for whatever, $350,000. Well, where's everybody else gonna go? Are you just supposed to wait? And now we're gonna build another park down here. How many toilets do you have planned for the one down by the municipal building? How many bathrooms? Anything for the kids to do while they're down there, or is it just for about eating and hanging out? Is it a hangout joint, eating? If there's eating, maybe, and since there is a park with picnic tables and stuff, then I think we should have bathrooms, because I think people are gonna be eating and drinking there, so they're gonna be there for a prolonged period of time. The incompetence here is unbelievable from top to bottom, and something needs to be done. We've got 3 junkyards in Mount Holly that I complained about 6 months ago that are all still here. They haven't gone away. We're that incompetent that we can't enforce the laws that are here now. We're just gonna sit back, and now we're worried about bamboo and all this other stuff. If you guys remember the Mount Holly calendar we used to have that we can't afford now, but I read the Bridgeton News that we just got, and it didn't have any new events that were happening, it had the events that already happened. Like last month, or the month before, it was the Irish Parade that was already over, you mentioned. It's already done. So you can't even get it, I guess you're the one, Mr. Mayor, since you wrote letters, you should know the deadlines, so it's out there, and then people know what's gonna happen in the future. Also, maybe, and since you have this newsletter, maybe you can tell them when the council meetings are in there. It'd be 1 more page, or when trash is, whatever's happening. And back in the day, the calendar in 2025, I don't even think we even paid anything for this calendar. It was paid for by the businesses of Mount Holly.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Your time is up. You're here, right? Your time's up, right?
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yep, you're welcome.
Anyone else in the third row?
Hello, my name is Megan, and first I'm coming in here, my hope was to see a breakdown for the current funding that's already being supplied for the county. For Mount
Megan,
Holly.
what's your address, please?
My address? Currently, I'm homeless at the moment. So my address would currently be 795 Wood Lane, would be the closest known address. And I was looking to see where the funding is actually being allocated currently, and the only thing that's being presented that I'm seeing is a proposal for the allocation of tax increases. Now, you've mentioned the different resolutions that you've talked about as far as voting on them, but I see no breakdown of what the actual verbiage is in those resolutions. Is there somewhere that they're printed or that they are available to look them up and actually read through each of these resolutions? And where would that be?
It's available online, or you can pick it up at the clerk's office at 23 Washington Street.
23 Washington Street, they have available at the clerk's office? Excellent.
23.
I'm sorry?
23.
23 Washington Street, thank you for that.
And if I
That's
may,
Ms. Rubin.
may I add, if you go like onto the website and click on agendas, you'll see like UEZ, Planning Board, and Township Council. There will be 2 things, agenda and then packet. Packet is like all the,
All the details,
text, whereas
right.
the agenda that is printed here is just the title. And because it's a lot to print, it's just.
It is a lot of paper, right?
Website.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can always look, and it's usually uploaded the Thursday before the Monday meeting.
Okay, would it be possible to modernize the meetings a bit and actually, when we walk in, present a QR code that you can actually scan and it would upload directly to that information? This way you have a PDF ready to go for everyone available at the meeting, to put everyone on the same page.
We can look into it.
Can we look into that? I think that would be extremely helpful. Now, also, thank you for that, but also the resolution, that solves the resolution issue. However, is there a place that's listing the current funding that is provided and how that's being allocated, or is that broken down in that sector already?
You actually, the county portion,
Correct, the actual funding broken down, meaning this is the,
meaning what goes to what bucket in terms of from the county? to where it
precisely,
goes?
precisely. That was my assumption of what the meeting would actually be, more inclusive of those details.
Well, this is just municipal, just from Mount Holly, the
Okay.
county. That's something that, they might have that breakdown at their building in terms of where the money is allocated in terms of the entire county of Burlington.
Okay,
So they may break it down that way in their budgeting process.
okay.
You know, if you go to the county building, like, you know, right over this road and see, I think, they're in the process of leasing it or leased it.
Normally it's on their website.
It's on their website too.
Yeah, they have,
Well.
where open space versus X, Y,
Right.
and Z. But that's a high bucket, like, if you're looking for the full bucket, it's probably on the website.
Right.
Only ours on the website.
Okay,
Right.
but what was the, I'm sorry, what was the address for the other department on Red Cocos?
Was it 49? 49 Rank Focus Road?
Road for 49, and that would be the Burlington County budget.
Yeah.
Alright,
And that probably would be at the clerk's office there,
the clerk,
clerk's office.
Clerks.
clerk's office, excellent. Perfect. Thank you very much, I'm gonna follow up with that, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else in that third row? Moving on to the fourth row.
Jim Lowe, 322 Washington Street. I do share some of my residents' concerns, you know, that we weren't able to have the 4th of July Independence Day celebration. I understand there were some issues involved with it. I also saw some of the Haynesburg fireworks, and it was nice to see our fire police and fire personnel taking part in helping keep everybody safe. But we did have, as mentioned before, we did have a great 250th anniversary. I did see the mayor in attendance. You know, he's walking around, so I just want to make sure that I know, at least I saw him there. He was present at the event, so I want to make that clear for everyone who was maybe concerned that he wasn't at the event. And as someone else just said about the junkyard, I would, you know, ask the township to consider looking into the junkyard on Holman Street in Mount Holly. That's been exist for months. I relayed my concerns to code enforcement. They told me they don't take complaints. I should reach out to council, that they won't investigate. Since code enforcement wouldn't take my complaint and wouldn't consider my request, I bring it to council. There's a junkyard on Holman Street across from where the Arrow plant used to be. It's filled with all kind of construction debris and dumpsters and trailers. It's been there for over a year now. So I ask that you guys can please consider, if code enforcement will do it, have the county or someone else look into that. And as for the budget, I also share some of my fellow residents' concerns about increased spending and tax, something I spoke about at the last meeting. And one thing is, for the second reading and adoption of the budget, to the best of my understanding, you're required to have a public hearing prior to the vote on the budget, and it's supposed to be separate and distinct from this public comment period. You guys voted on the budget a few minutes ago, and there was no public hearing on the budget prior to it, so I was wondering why, did the state says you don't have to have a public hearing on the budget?
No, Jim, they didn't say that. We had a public hearing at the last public meeting, and the amendments were thoroughly discussed at that public hearing. There was no need to have a second public hearing.
Okay, it just, you know, in the agenda, it also states that this be public hearing and adoption on the agenda, so that's why I'm confused.
Jim, I'm sorry to confuse you. If there was something unique or distinct that came up this evening, or different, that hadn't been vetted with the state, or discussed publicly at the last
Okay.
public meeting, I would totally agree. We would have had a separate public hearing on that particular aspect.
Well, then going forward, going forward, you might want to clarify that the agenda does say public hearing on the agenda for tonight, and there was no public hearing, so I think myself and other residents might be confused due to the fact that the agenda states there will be a public hearing tonight. All right,
Who is that code enforcement, could you talk to?
Lee Eckert,
He said he wouldn't take it from what?
yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you. How about time don't we call that row early? Anyone else in that row? I think that's fourth. Anyone else beyond that would like to speak?
Hi, guys.
Carrie McCallum, 99 Madison. I had a few things. Some of this is very long-term, I guess, not long-term, but, so I live at 99. I am one house away from the beautiful dream going on in my backyard. I think the sun ones is at 8 o'clock. They're starting construction early at like 7:45 in the morning, pounding in steel posts, which is annoying when you have a baby trying to sleep. So that's, I'm willing to not deal with that. But anyway, so on Madison, in between Cedar and Banks, there is street parking right there. As we all know, speed limit is 25 on Madison. Once people hit that hospital speed bump and crosswalk, they floor it pretty much. 45, 60, I've seen 60.
Yeah.
It is absolutely, literally impossible to get out of my driveway. And 99% of the time I have a baby in the back, so I'm terrified to pull out, especially going left. So I didn't know long-term if there was any question as to nix that street parking right there in the future, because they'll have that giant lot right there. So I didn't know if there was any plans for that right now. I know the street will be going in eventually right there. So, yeah, and I don't know if the solution is more enforcement of speed on that street, or because there's a lot of wildlife right now that's relocating. One day last week, there was 2 red belly sliders on the street, smashed to bits, because, and that's in one day. We usually get one a year. And deer getting hit like crazy. No, it was more in the spring, but I didn't know if like, another question was like, wildlife crossing sign, gosh, what about that? Because there's the woods in the back on both sides in people's backyards, so there's wildlife crossing all the time, and people are not doing 25. So, I think that's really all I had. I know I'm kind of stammering and muttering, but.
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
Wasn't there another crosswalk going on there?
We thought about it, I think that's being mixed. It should, where's the sight lines that you're having issues with? You said between Cedar and Bank?
Yeah,
Between
it's
there
about
and-
6 cars or so, and it's usually.
Is that where the fence, that's where the fence is?
It will be, yeah. So it's usually hospital staff and vendors. I see usually, it's probably pharmaceutical reps with their little rolling. And I think some nurses park there right now. So it's just, it's difficult, it's challenging. It's challenging for me, and I'm a little bit away from the cars. My neighbor I know, they've talked about it a lot, and they've even gone to the point of parking on the street because they can't get out of their driveway at all. So it's just dangerous for us right now, and I know my neighbor and then their neighbor, and my neighbor lives all the way down at 71, she talks about how difficult it is, and that's way down there. So, but that's street parking regardless, so, because they don't have some driveways down there, but, yeah, I think that's all I had, unless you guys had any more questions.
No, just, I will talk to you, again, in regards to checking the speed limits on that particular road. We know it's an issue, it's been reported before.
Because there's one car that zips down about 60, I've once, going to and coming back about 60, and it's terrifying, because I have these neighbors, my kid running out in the street at some point, and.
Understood.
Anyway, but, I appreciate you guys' time, thank you for listening to me, and
Thank you.
have a good evening.
Thank you.
Yes,
Good
Good evening, Arlene Pfeiffer, 494 Mary Street. I want to touch in on the deer situation we're having on the mount. Love deer, love to look at them, love to see the babies. They're also tasty. But we had this winter, I counted in front of my window, because my house faces the mount, 9 doe, 2 buck. My neighbor next door had 12 deer in her front yard. The mount was only 10 acres. They go from the cemetery to the mount to the Holly Farm. I'm getting scat all over my yard. They're eating all my vegetation. I'm sure all my neighbors are getting the same thing. I tried talking to the state, see if they're getting relocated to the state park where they belong, that's where they're safe. I mean, they're scared up there. I almost hit my Jeep twice on Evergreen. They've almost hit me twice. Poor grandma almost got run over by a reindeer this winter. I had one jump out of my bushes because it was spooked by a truck and missed me by 6 inches, and nobody would have heard me in the middle of the night when I got knocked over. I'd like to see if we could maybe eventually, we have a lot of things going on in Mount Holly. I'd like to see maybe if we can get a grant to have them relocated. They are beautiful, majestic animals. They just don't belong landlocked. It's not good for them. It's not good for us. And the other thing is going through town. It's really just disgusting to go to see the amount of weeds. I can't say trash, we're doing good on that, but all the cracks, all the weeds, going up High Street, going down Garden, going down any of these places where it's just terrible to go through our main fair and see weeds and grass. We've got downtown, we've got furniture sitting on front porches. I'm feeling like I'm at a West Virginia Hollow. Not to make anybody feel bad, but I mean, it's just not looking like this beautiful historic town when we have nobody going out and saying, hey, I'm not saying a citation, maybe a warning, because there's nothing worse not to be told first. Just some kind of warning to get this done. Take care of your weeds. Washington House, that looks like a horror house sometimes with all of the windows and all of the spider webs going through it. I love this town. I've been here for a long time. My other thing, and lastly, would be our kayak launch. Love it. I think it's a great idea. I've been trying to push the creek for years, and I've laid off for the last 5 or 6. Kayak launch is awesome. Our problem is now you're talking about putting a park there, and you're going to lose parking spaces for any handicap that could use that launch. Our other thing is dredging, taking care of the trees. I've done it for a number of years, pulling trees and branches, and I'm just getting older to be doing that with a chainsaw. We've had a number of people, and I see faces that have helped me and have had organizations. If we want to make that gem of the creek that the train wreck can take care of, or could have a launch there. I know Village Idiot, they have kayaks. The kayaks became a big thing around COVID, and it's still a big thing seeing people come through. But we could make our little oxbow such a gem and bring people in. I just think down the road, we always have to take steps. We can't take too much on at once, but please keep it on the back of the agenda for a grant or volunteers or whatever we can do. But thank you for all you do for Mount Holly. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may add, Arlene, that kayak launch, it's here on the north, it's actually for Ironworks Park.
It's gonna go to Irons,
It's
because the
down
last one
here.
was.
Yeah, that's a different one. This one is
another one.
Ironworks
Okay,
Park,
'cause-
which I know is better, correct?
Yeah, and we're titled, so that's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't understand the tides in Mount Holly. And if you try to get out on low tide with all the trees that are behind, it used to be Lippincott's, along that part of the creek, it's tough. You really have to do everything on high tide unless we start maintaining, and it's not a whole big area to do, but enough that we used to dredge back in the 50s. And it's just a beautiful spot. It's a place to go to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Monday, Maureen Taylor Ford, 117 Branch Street. Not a whole lot to say tonight, just gonna reiterate some of the things that some of my other physically engaged active citizens said. And at the last meeting, I did not have a chance to thank Josh Brown for explaining to me what was going on with the budget and explaining why people were not aware of the DCA before I was rudely interrupted, because people needed naps. So I want to thank you, Josh Brown, for conversing with me. That is progress, because it's been very many times I've got up here and you haven't even turned around in your seat. So I appreciate that last, conversation we had. Moving right along, first one I wanted to hit on is Jeff made a statement about the newsletter. So Mayor Banks, if you write the newsletter, we pay a PR company to publish the newsletter. Then I believe that our new friend here, our new homeless tenant here, made a valid point where we should have a QR code on there. That would be beneficial. It keeps up with technology, which I'm sure Rich knows this because he's a tech person. Also noted, informative as it is, why can't we list the meetings on there? Is there a reason we can't list the meetings? Is the reason you, Mayor Banks, on your newsletter cannot list when these township meetings are and put it out to the public like, hey, come support your town. Come to the township meeting. Or is there an underlying reason why we don't want people to come to these meetings? To lengthen them maybe, I'm not certain. As far as BJ made a statement about Captain Spencer not being here. So about a year ago, I was actually asked this question at some meeting we had at Spellbound. And I have direct knowledge that I was told at that meeting by 2 different officers that he was ordered and his officers are ordered not to come to this meeting because it's gonna lengthen the meeting and then it's gonna arise more questions from the public that possibly they don't want answered. So I'm just putting that out there, just as a physically engaged, active citizen that I am. Arlene made some statement about the deer. Well, the deer overload is due to industrialization. So the more we build, the more we do this, the more the deer are gonna remain landlocked. I think I came here 2 or 3 years ago and I told you guys there was a deer dying in my backyard from, I believe it's called wasting syndrome, and I couldn't get the township to help. I literally had to like start calling big businesses, big people, letting them know I was a disabled Afghanistan veteran and there's a deer dying in my backyard and my township won't help me, okay? So I don't know if we can do much about the deer because we're just industrializing everything. That I don't know. I think that was it as far as my physically engaged. I do have a question about ordinance 2026 TAC 4 and ordinance 2026 TAC 60. One mentions historic preservation district, another mentions historic preservation ordinance. I'd like to know what the difference is in that terminology. Seems today we're having a lot of issues with words, so I'm sure all our 3rd grade teachers will be happy. Also, I'd like to know about 2026-62, tax collections for totally disabled veterans. I myself am a totally disabled veteran. I'd like to know about that. And also, I'm just curious, what is this 2026-68 performance bond for Spark Car Wash? Is that like, I don't know, we give businesses for like $1 or we get money, like, I don't even know what that is, people. I don't know, I think that was it. Oh, and then just one more, I'm sorry, 2026 TAC 5, creating a chapter for vehicle motors, like a motor pool, I'm assuming that's what that means? All right, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Pierre Ford, 117 Branch Street. First off, regulars who showed up, thank you.
Mr. Ford, can you please,
Regulars who show up, thank you. Those who are brand new to this meeting, thank you. We need more participation. Beautification. Funding. Taking care of each other. Now I say these things because we have a lot of people that want to make this place better, who care about Mount Holly. So when individuals come up and they say certain things about problems in their community, I would hope that we follow up with the answers to these questions. Because it should not be asked 2 or 3 times on certain things. If we ask a question, we should be able to get an answer by the next meeting. Or by text or whatever. We are a small town compared to other towns, but as you can notice, we have a lot of participation about the town, which means that these folks care about what's going on with the town, which also means that we require you to care about what's going on with the town. I just want to make sure that when we have individuals walking around in some of the neighbors' areas, that nobody gets ran over, because we have idiots who go and speed in neighborhoods that they shouldn't be doing. The young lady who came up here said something about how she's got a lot of cars coming in and out and she's scared to even back up her car. That should be a concern right there. Because I'm the same way. At our house, I have to watch 24/7 because we have diesel trucks passing through our areas, which shouldn't be done. So I just wanted to make everybody aware on that. Another thing, when are we gonna have an event where that we used to have walks around the neighborhood to pick up trash and clean up? I mean, we should have these type of events where we actually can have some of the high schoolers or elementary schoolers come in and help out so they can add that on to their school. It was a good deal when we had it, but it all of a sudden it stopped. And we should be going back to doing that. That also shows the community that we want to beautify the areas. Now, we're gonna have individuals who's just gonna throw trash and stuff around, but when they see us walking around, they know that we're trying to help our community. Okay, so thank you, I appreciate it.
Anyone else in the back? The last rows that did not speak?
Carl Shaw, 17 Lois Lane. This is in a way of an invitation. I'll stand sideways. First of all, this coming Saturday, for you history buffs, I belong to the American Legion, Clarence Gladfelder Post 11 in Mount Holly. And this coming Saturday is the 99th anniversary of the recovery of Emilio Carranza, who crashed in the Pines. So this year's a big deal, but next year is going to be the big deal. This year, 4 of our members are flying down to Mexico City to go to his grave site, and Mexico is going to do a big thing for our members down in Mexico City the same day that we're going to do the anniversary up here on Saturday. The service is at 1 o'clock. Everyone is invited. It's getting bigger and bigger every year. We're up to 30-some reefs. We do a reenactment of recovery of the body. And I know our council has been invited. I don't know who's going to be showing up. Previous years, we've had several members of the council be there, and I expect they'll be there this Saturday. Yes, it's always the second Saturday in July. It's hot, but we look at it this way, us veterans, people are in uniform in the deserts and everything. If you could take an hour and be out there at the site to honor Emilio Carranza, that would be a great thing. So,
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you.
One
field, Bob Johnson, Cherry Street. There's a field behind my house. And usually they cut it every year in the summer, they start at the beginning of spring and cut it. This year it hasn't been cut at all. It's gotta be this high. How do I go about getting, somebody to cut it? I don't know who it's owned by. It's behind the, fire station on Mill Street.
I'll help you cut it for free.
What do you say?
I'll help you cut it for
Hey,
free.
No, the grass is this high. You
That's
still need-
okay.
So where's the property again, Mr. Johnson?
It's in between Cherry Street and Holly Avenue, it's a field, and usually every year they cut it several
Emergency squad
times.
owns it.
Huh?
The emergency squad. Emergency squad.
So how-
Yeah. You can let them know. We'll contact.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Anyone else in the final row? All right, we're closing the public portion. Thank you for your comments and concerns.
Ready to go through this aisle?
I call it the last row, aren't you?
Okay, I'm the last row then.
Then you are the last row, so.
Hi, my name is David Villalba, 166 Ronconcos Road. I'm gonna go really fast because got 3 pages here, probably 3 more back there. So once again, we see the CFO, financial officer, she's not present. We've asked in the past, why isn't she here? She should be explaining this. Why aren't we given, the young lady asked a good question, we should be given the highlights of the budget, the details of it, what you actually want to put in there, what you actually want to raise. As a town manager, you have a lot of responsibilities, but I feel that the town manager and the mayor are kind of incompetent and mismanaged, or unprofessional, and fit to the office they have. You not only focus on a few businesses, but you focus on businesses that shouldn't be in the town, that we shouldn't know the town for. I'm not gonna mention which businesses are those, because you know what they are. They're all over the place, and they're growing, and you're trying to build them more and more. We have staff, the manager is responsible for the staff and the day-to-day operations, the awarding the contracts and everything to that nature, development, but I see contracts out there and I see development that makes me question what is going on in the town. I walk often and a lot through the town, and I don't see a lot going on in the town. I don't see any revitalization. I don't see anything improving. If I ask you how many businesses in town and High Street are empty, would you be able to tell me? How many diversified businesses do we have? Do we have any coffee shops? Do we have anything for the community? Do we have anything for kids to go to? Do we have any entertainment? Do we offer that? Those are things that are important to grow in the city. We want to grow the town, not diminish it. As we're going along, I point at, where's the money going? Why don't we see that? Again, the revitalization, which was in the master plan, is not really getting focused on, and you're not really applying it of saying, where is it going? I see stores closing. I don't see any consistent hours, 9 to 5. So it makes me wonder, what are you doing with it? As far as road repairs, people mention the roads, the trucks and everything. We got a problem with that. You're not really putting and focusing on that. You're not focusing on safety. There's a lot of concern for the safety of people and the kids. Crime hasn't diminished. It's actually gone up. So it's something that we have to look into. So as you're doing projects, it'd be nice to know what projects you'll be doing, not to have a newsletter that focuses on the past and only focuses on the mayor. You could get the calendar, like Jeff said, and you get the newsletter for free. If you don't know how, I'd be more than happy to direct you to places that will do it for free. They'll take on the businesses, charge a business, and do the letter for free. Now, that's the town manager's responsibility. Again, fiscal responsibility. I could save you $10,000, $20,000 on the newsletter, or however you're doing it. We have to have accountability, transparency, and communication. There's very little of that. There is none, as a matter of fact. We need to have businesses that are going to service the community, not service individuals. As far as the town is concerned, what are you developing in the town for housing, for improvements? Anything for the community that's gonna revitalize it? We're looking at the demolition, for example, of the bank. What have you done with the bank? It's overdue. You promised a long time ago that it was gonna open. Asbestos came in, but we don't know what happened there or what's going on. Again, communication, transparency. The building that got knocked down on MUA, supposedly you were knocking it down because over asbestos. But asbestos has to be covered so it doesn't airborne. So there's a little fault there. I can go on and on and on. It'd be nice to have community centers for kids and activities, and the taxes are just going up. I actually did a write-up on my taxes and looked for the past 3 years, and I did it for several other people. The taxes are going up. Thank you so much, but I'll be putting this out there on the web.
Thank you. All right, he was the last one. Public comment is closed. Thank you for your comments and concerns. Let's move along to the consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are considered routine by the council and be approved by a single motion without separate discussion. If a council member wishes to discuss a consent agenda item, they may first ask questions about it. If a member still wishes to remove the item from the consent agenda, it will be taken off and voted on separately. Is there anything you need to pull out and vote on separately?
Yes.
All right, what's the numbers, please?
2026-63, the resolution for the mural. There's actually just a typo. Do you want to pull it, or do you want me to mention what I think may be incorrect that we could amend right now? Would that be better? Or just vote it?
Yeah, I think that would be better.
Okay. I think, I just, as I was going through, on the original, packet that we received last week, it mentions a mural on Commerce Street, but I remember looking at all the visuals. Yeah, because yeah, it's 84 Mill Street, Hissy Hatch, so make sure that we amend that before we vote on the wrong mural in the wrong building. Okay. So officially move to amend?
Yes, I was gonna ask you, motion to amend.
Okay,
So make a motion to amend resolution 63.
Yes, I move to amend resolution 2026-63 to change the address listed from Commerce Street to 84 Mill Street. Do I have a second?
So you first, you have a second. All right, so we have a motion, you need a roll call particularly for that one? Just do a roll call to approve that amendment. Roll call, please.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Falco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. All right, so we can leave it on consent. Anything else? All right, we're seeing none, so we're gonna take resolutions 2026-60 to 83. We're gonna approve the actual bill list, department head reports in one motion. So we have a
Motion
motion.
to approve.
We have a first, we have a second.
Second?
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Falco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes, thank you. All right, so now we're back in business for the township. That concludes our portion. We're gonna open it up to our township manager. You have any comments or questions? Thank you. Our solicitor, you know anything?
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing specific.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. All right, start with Councilman Burks.
Yeah, just a few short things tonight. Thanks for everybody for coming out. It is really great to see some new faces. I know there was a few at the last meeting. I see even a few more new faces at this one, so I really appreciate everybody taking the time and being so active here in what's happening in town. It's really important. I love hearing the ideas that you're bringing, as well as bringing attention to things like the, mowing of the grass. Like, we can't all have eyes everywhere at all times, so it's really great when you guys come and bring those issues to us. Which leads me to a quick question, a technical question, either Sherry or Josh. What is the mechanism for reporting any issues that are related to code enforcement? What's the best first thing to do if there's an issue?
You get in touch with the code enforcement officer.
Okay, so it is to get in touch with them. Perfect. Fantastic, and that information's on the website. What is the mechanism for applications for tax relief for a total disabled veteran? Is that something that is also posted on the website? Like, we review them, but I never knew how they came.
Don't work in the tax office, I'm not
Oh, okay.
100% sure.
But I can ask at the tax.
I know there's forms that do need to be filled out, there are forms on the website.
Okay. I've never looked at them, so I just.
There's a lot of other information that needs to be provided, obviously, and,
Okay, cool.
Tax
Perfect.
information is also on the website.
Okay, they're at the state level. Okay, so,
That our tax office has.
gotcha. Okay, fantastic. So in case you didn't hear that, tax relief for totally disabled veterans,
Our website.
we can direct you to those if anybody feels as if they may be qualified and want to apply, reach out. Talked a little, I heard a lot of chatter today, which was really great and exciting around like, we need to be doing some better trash pickup, can we get some volunteer days together and all of that? Which reminded me that we are now in July and have yet to fully, to get a fully functioning environmental committee in place. I know that there have been some applications received, but we've not put that on the agenda for several months now. Is that something that we're anticipating, trying to get back up and running again soon?
You need to, yes.
Yeah, so maybe we can dust off those applications, and see if we can get that running, because things like
Why don't you see
reaching
if
out to
you can
potent.
get some of your- let us know.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So things like more simple things like volunteers coming out and doing some trash pickup in different areas, but all the way through, looking for grants, as well as things like the deer situation in town. That's exactly like where I would, wanna start, I recommend that we start, is with the environmental, and then also potentially, if there's anything out there to help us get the, waterways dredged, because it is such a gem, for us in town, and it's such a wonderful resource. So anyway, that will be the environmental committee, so I'll take that on. I will take on kind of just getting that back together, and maybe getting us prepared to get, that fully functional and a quorum established soon. Yes, sir.
Just real quick in response to the total disabled veteran exception. It is on the website.
Okay.
Under forms and documents.
Yep.
Under tax collector. I was just looking when you brought it up, and it's there,
Thank
there's
you.
a disabled veteran exemption.
Yep.
Option there, and that brings you to the requirements and the 4-page form that has to be filled out.
Wonderful. So Mrs. Taylor Ford, if you're still here, between reading glasses and seeing far, I will, email you a link to that. So you can check it out. Then, Mr. Shaw, I'm not sure if you're still here, but thank you for the reminder about the Emilio Carranza Memorial. I've gone every year for the past 5 years, except for I think last year. We will be there, Tara and I will be there. It is, if anybody hasn't had a chance, it's out in the Pines. You may have passed the sign for the memorial on your way down, like I think it's up down off of 206. Anyway, check it out. It is a really moving and really cool experience to see that memorial service, and really something for our town to be proud of, as well as being the local organization being a part of recovering him after the plane crash. So very cool. And then the last thing, I just wanted to ask if there's an update on timing for the municipal building back renovations. Is there any updates there? Mr. Brown? Timing?
Yeah, but we're waiting for the budget to pass. Another thing we're waiting for is the water company to approve certain plans. Once the water company approves certain plans, then done, still trying to get it done before the end of the year.
Okay, thank you. Again, thanks for everybody for coming out, and go USA, right? Yep.
All right.
54 minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Burkus. Ms. Astor?
So I will start with, as I know, as it has been on everyone's mind, the budget, after a lot of hours and deliberation and multiple meetings, we finally came to a final budget. And I know that it may not be what everyone wanted. 9.7% is a huge increase. We didn't get it to zero, but I think it was straddling that fine line between funding everything that we need to have essential services and our police and our municipal workers taken care of and paid, and then decreasing Okay,
It's not working, hold on. All right, I'm just gonna talk really loud. Okay. It just.
Okay, my battery died. So in the end, I did the math, it was a 42% decrease, not quite half as I was hoping for. And I know for some people, that may still be too much, but that doesn't mean that we won't stop working to find ways to reduce spending and increase revenue in other creative ways. So that maybe next year it could be 0, or who knows, maybe a miracle will happen and someday we'll actually manage to decrease taxes. Maybe it's always possible. So we won't stop just because the budget is done. There have been a few interesting ideas that we're going to look into. And then I'm going to go through the list really quickly that everyone is with. I think having a QR code just like printed at the top of the agenda so that you could put your phone over it and get like the full packet. Because I myself have printed copies and I'm looking at them all the time, and that's actually how I noticed a one slight mistake in the address for a mural. So it is very helpful when you're trying to follow along. The title literally gives you no information. So great idea, Megan. Thank you and welcome. Yeah, I do think that it is an ongoing issue with speeding, and a wonderful resident, Nick Sedano, sent basically all the language that we would need to have an ordinance to decrease speed. And I don't think there's anyone in this town that would say, yeah, I'm fine with the speed limit the way it is. Anyone who walks a dog, walks children, has children that walk to school, would happily decrease the speed limit. And as a municipality, we're free to make our speed limit whatever we want. But I'm going to look into that because it has to be an ordinance, and consult with our township solicitor to make sure that it's actually like all legally binding and following all the rules. But I think that there isn't anyone in town who would not want a reduction in speed limit. We can only make things better, and it's about time. So we're going to get on that.
Thank you.
Oh yes, also Arlene the deer. We live near the mount and walk across and on the mount all the time. I have never in my how many years lived here since 1978. I've never seen so many deer, and I think I don't even know where to start. Maybe Josh, we could connect with you about reaching out to like someone in the state to transfer them to Maricopa State Park, because there's so many, and at some point I'm worried that like someone on High Street is going to hit a deer and it's going to be disastrous for drivers. They're just overpopulating, and we're also starting to seeing them coming down into our yard in areas where they don't normally go. So I think they're getting a bit overpopulated. Maureen Kim has you for the documents for veterans tax relief. We're going to work on the environmental committee. Emilio Carranza said, yes, Mr. Shaw, I just sent an email last week and a follow-up today. We will be there. The Emilio Carranza Memorial, all you have to do is Google Amelia Carranza Memorial, and Google Maps will tell you where to go. It's way out in the pines every year at 1 p.m. And it's a really beautiful cultural exchange between representatives from Mexico and here, because this guy was basically like the Charles Lindbergh of Mexico, who basically was doing a goodwill tour 99 years ago, and his plane crashed in the Pine Barrens. And so we do this beautiful ceremony every year, and the consulate from Mexico was there, and they have folk dancers, and it's just a really nice cultural event, as well as like honoring the death of this lovely man who was flying around the U.S. on a goodwill tour many years ago. Oh, David, the MUA building, by the way, that is a separate entity, so the township did not actually knock down the building. The MUA chose to knock it down. So if you want to be upset at the MUA and go to an MUA meeting and tell them how you feel. Oh, please, we're going to get working on environmental committee. They do cleanups, they do all kinds of cool projects in town. They can apply for grants. So maybe at the next meeting, we could make some appointments. So if anyone hasn't, please consider applying, or tell your friends who might want to apply. You don't have to really know a whole lot, you just have to be willing to help out. All right, taking up enough of everybody's time. Thank you all for coming, and we're continuing to do our best and listen and respond. And you can always email everybody if you have something that you haven't thought of at the meeting. And have a great rest of your day, and see you in August. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Walker?
Thanks, Chris. Good evening, everyone. A lot of the questions that went through public were already answered, but Maureen, actually, before I go to your questions, Arlene, when you came up, you mentioned that in the 50s there was dredging that was being done. If you're still here, if you have any information on that from historical purposes, I'd love to get my hands on that. Let me know. Maureen, you asked a couple of questions on resolutions. I think you got the information regarding the total disabled veteran, but you asked a question regarding the performance bond on Spark Car Wash. Performance bonds are bonds that, for instance, Spark Car Wash would have provided dollars for professional services that may be being done in the process of getting certain things approved in the township. Once things are approved and done, any monies that are left over and that get returned back to the applicant for any work getting done. It's there just in case something goes wrong. We hold some money to be able to pay for those services. So it's done, and those services are being, money's being returned back to the car wash. You also asked about the motor vehicle one. That was tabled, but as a quick synopsis, it's an ordinance which is going to add some more detail to state law, which allows our PD to be able to provide some enforcement for things like quads and dirt bikes and things riding in areas where they shouldn't be, so they can go ahead and they can confiscate those things. This particular ordinance does not address e-bikes. I think that'll be one that we'll have to go ahead and address at a later time, or maybe incorporate into this. But the e-bike thing that the state just passed was more of a what's required to have an e-bike from a speed purposes, to be registered, etc. So that may be something different outside of this particular ordinance, unless you're riding e-bikes without it being registered. So the other was the historic. It's a first reading, and we'll go through a bunch of items from that. My guess is when that goes through its second and public discussion and is passed, we're gonna probably have to go through and review who's on that, make sure that people are still on it, reappoint where needed, and get forward with that. Outside of that, a lot of the questions were answered. I don't have a lot of stars that were on here, but they were all answered. Let's get a meeting up with Bertram again regarding speeding on Madison. I had brought up during our meeting that there's problems there. They pushed back on putting a second crosswalk there. I said it would be good for people, but also a good calming process for cars driving on that road. They are doing improvements, and this would be a good time to have that conversation and see if they want to incorporate anything extra to get it on. So, virtual. Yeah, this parking's going to be there, and we're crossing. So maybe it's another opportunity to. Yeah, something to look at. I know it's still an issue. But that's all I have. Thank you for coming out, everybody. We appreciate your time.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor. All right, well, we won't hold you too long. Thank you for council for coming to the consensus and getting this budget passed and get back to business. I know it's an arduous process, but it needed to happen, and I'm glad it came to a conclusion. I'd like to thank our staff that, everyone at the township that put their effort into, from our meeting last week and getting this resolved as well. They did a phenomenal job. I'd like to thank them as well. And their continued hard work and their dedication to this town. And with that, like I said, I know the USA plays in about 40 minutes. I know people want to see that particular match. But I'd like to thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for your comments and your questions. They don't go lightly. We will look into most of them, and hopefully we'll have more, answers by next meeting. So with that, I think we're done. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, first, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you.